All right, so I have one video for you today, and this is from the Daily Cost, and this is the natural progression for people who think that their religious beliefs trump everything. I mean, if you're religious and you don't like certain things, like, I don't know, unwed women who, though in a relationship, get pregnant, that's great. Don't be that woman or don't be in that relationship, that's fine. But if you are a doctor, it is literally your job to help them. You do not get to decide, this is against my religious beliefs. Okay, she's in a loving relationship, so problem? Just because, my dad, who was so not religious, he always thought that you get married first, then the babies come. Would he deny care? Granted, he was not an obstetrician, but would he deny care to people who didn't get married first and got pregnant? No. No, because he wasn't that big of an asshole. But anyway, let us get to the article. Pregnant Tennessee woman denied OBGYN care because she's not married to her partner. All right. There is this young woman in Tennessee who is pregnant. She wants the baby. She wants a healthy baby. She wants to do everything she can for the baby. Just what the pro-life maniacs want, right? Not quite. She left out one step. She and her long-term partner, 15 years together, forgot to get a fornication license from the state first. And yes, it's very facetious for those who didn't catch it. They're talking about a marriage license. So her gynecologist refused to give her the prenatal care she deserves because it's against his Christian values. And actually, this was I saw this pointed out somewhere. Jesus? But anyway, before I continue, a Substack that I follow, Joyce White Vance, she initially reported on it on her Substack, and she found it in the Tennessee Holler, or Tennessee Repro News. So Daily Cost picked up with it. And when I looked it up, Tennessee Holler and Daily Cost were literally the only sources. Social media in general picked it up, but I didn't look if there was any specific news source attached to it. Okay. Last night at a town hall in Jonesboro, Tennessee, a woman shared her story. She was denied prenatal care by her OB/GYN because the doctor objected to the fact that she isn't married. She's been with her partner for 15 years and has a 13-year-old child, which I can only assume is with said partner because I can math. So, the doctor told her that because she was unwed, they didn't feel comfortable treating her because it went against their Christian values, which makes me wonder who was treating her for the first child, because obviously not the same asswipe. Now she's traveling out of state to Virginia to receive prenatal care, which is just absurd. You should not have to travel out of state just to get care for a pregnancy you want to even keep, simply because you're not married. What is going to happen next? She's going to lose her job because she dares to be pregnant while working? It's just so bonkers. Fortunately, Tennessee hasn't yet tried to emulate Texas and restrict women from traveling out of state for medical reasons. And it's not clear why she didn't seek another OBGYN doctor. She lives in a rural area, so maybe there isn't another one. Now, I find it hard. I would like to think that, that there would be more doctors in Tennessee, but maybe she's closer to Virginia than any bigger city. So, yeah. All right. So, this is what Joyce Vance said about it. Apparently, the Hippocratic Oath no longer matters, at least not if your patient is an unmarried woman who's pregnant. Women in Tennessee have suffered in the past for being denied an abortion while carrying a non-viable pregnancy, only to lose their fertility as a result. But this is next level. This is a doctor denying a patient care because he doesn't approve of the way she chooses to live her life. I mean, I could understand, you having a problem with abortion because, everybody considers abortion icky. There is literally no one who gets pregnant with the express purpose of, oh, goody, goody, I can get an abortion now. Literally nobody does that. So I can understand you not wanting to do an abortion. I still don't agree. You should probably find a different specialty, if not outright different career, but I still can understand it. I can totally understand your, squeamishness. This is an unmarried woman who wants to keep her baby. What is she supposed to do? She can't have an abortion because this guy would probably lose his shit for that. I'm assuming male. I shouldn't, but this person would probably lose their shit for that. And if they're together 15 years, chances are highly likely that neither of them want to get married. That they're perfectly happy cohabitating, but not traditional marriage. That it would be more of a common law marriage. So, except for not having the paper, she's doing everything that you would expect. She's in a committed relationship. She already has a kid with this person. Nothing crazy is happening here. They just choose not to get married. And I've heard that millennials in general, are choosing not to get married. Now, whether it be because they're just trying to stay afloat financially, or if they just think that marriage is a quaint tradition that they don't need to abide by, whatever the reason. There more and more people are choosing not to get married. That is not up for other people to decide whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. This woman didn't have a one-night stand, but still wants to keep the baby for whatever reason or whatever he is going on in his head. She's in a committed relationship. It's just that that relationship didn't come with a wedding ring. But she's in a committed relationship. They've been together for 15 years. Except for the paper, they're practically married. And once upon a time, this was literally all it took for people to recognize it as a marriage. So I just do not see what is his problem. All right, the doctor had the right to refuse to treat her under a new Tennessee law, the 2025 Medical Ethics Defense Act. The legislation defines key terms like conscience, sincerely held ethical, moral, or religious beliefs, and establishes protections that prevent government entities, healthcare institutions, and other organizations from taking discriminatory actions against healthcare professionals who refuse to participate in medical procedures that violate their personal beliefs. Once upon a time, people just found another job if they didn't want to do it. The bill allows healthcare providers to opt out of participating in specific procedures that conflict with their conscience, while still maintaining their obligation to provide other essential healthcare services. Now, like I said, I've said this in previous videos. My father used to work with a man who refused to provide abortions. And as much as it annoyed both of us, because it's your fucking job, you're an obstetrician, but at the same time, I get it, you just don't feel comfortable doing that. I can see that as being legit. Again, I don't agree with it. You should probably choose a different specialty, but okay. I also do understand. But that doesn't apply in this case. You are literally saying, I do not agree with who you are. This isn't even about the circumstance that a woman would find herself in if it were an abortion. This is literally a woman in a loving relationship who wants to have this baby, wants to be a good mother, and yet the doctor has a problem with it. What is it about treating this woman that's so unconscionable to you? Because, again, I get the abortion thing, but just giving standard health care to someone who happens to be unmarried? I mean, it's not like she's completely and utterly single. She's in a committed relationship. Like I said, they've been together for 15 years. They just never got married. They might as well, in essence, be married. Consider it a common law marriage. I'm not sure what this person's problem is. Prenatal care evidently is not considered essential. Just like period products are not considered essential, which, I'm sorry, most women bleed once a month. How is that not essential, but okay? Here is yet more proof, as if we needed any, that this isn't a fight for the preborn or about preserving life. It is purely and simply and despicably a war on women. And even Joyce White Vance, that's exactly how she phrased it. That was the title of her newsletter, War on Women, when she mentioned this example. The story appears to be getting some attention at the state level, while the authors of the medical unethics bill declined to comment, as did Tennessee's 2 senators. Tennessee Repro News did get a statement from Gloria Johnson, a Democratic member of the Tennessee legislature. It's obviously not pro-life and not very Christian either, said Representative Gloria Johnson as she reshared the story. And who else are they not going to treat? I had a friend say, what about someone who's addicted to drugs or alcohol, or who's struggling with mental health? If you can just refuse treatment to anyone whose lifestyle you disagree with, that's not medical ethics, that's fascism. Fascism, war on women, war on us all. So that is the end of that article. And it's just so disheartening that it seems like we're going backwards when it comes to women's rights. Women should not be allowed to get an abortion, a legal abortion. They should go into the back alley and hope and pray they don't die. And if the fetus dies, oh well, nobody seems to mention that. When it comes to an abortion, people always talk about the woman. And not even in a good way. Not in the way of we need to protect the woman, because apparently having her on her deathbed is hunky-dory for these people. And maybe then she's at the point where an abortion is carried out. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about the fetus. Nobody on that side mentions the possibility that a fetus isn't viable. They just give lip service to it. Because as far as they're concerned, every fetus is viable no matter what. Which, not a thing. Not all fetuses are viable. And it is so sickening that people seem to treat it like, this is just, it's just the mother who's going to die. It's not like it's someone important. The fetus, however, but they don't seem to give a rat's ass if the fetus survives either. Because sometimes abortions are just simply to keep the mental health of the parent, while because the inevitable was that the fetus was not going to survive. So you don't give a shit about the fetus, because once the baby's born, they might have a few minutes or a few hours or possibly a few weeks of life and in torture before they die. But hey, at least they got to be born. What a gift. Yes, such a gift to be in a situation where you're dying for the entire time in absolute agony. But yes, at least that baby got to experience life. What a gift. Nobody seems to care about that. Nobody seems to care about the fact that if they actually cared about the woman suffering, they would, I don't know, maybe not wait till she's on death's door to provide her care. And now we've gotten to the point in the program where just being pregnant while not being married is a sin. Which, like I said, Jesus is one. And number two, she's in a freaking loving relationship and she already has a kid. It's not like this is some, I guess you would call her a skank, who who you have a problem with, who's, for some reason having a kid. I guess you would think of her as a welfare queen. And that's not what's happening here. So why are we punishing women for doing the right thing? All she wants is to have a healthy baby. I mean, I just do not understand why people are having this war on women. Why are we so, as a society, so against women that we actively want to punish them for existing? Because again, if you want to not have kids until marriage, that's fine. That's on you. These people, after 15 years, it's entirely possible neither of them want to get married. Or maybe someday it could still happen. But there are some people who just do not want to get married for whatever reason. So why are we punishing them for that? Like I've mentioned many times in this video, you don't want to perform an abortion, okay. I don't agree, but I understand why. This I do not even remotely understand. This makes zero sense. Anyway, that is all I have for this article and this video. So with that, I will see you guys in the next video.